So, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is a fascinating film, in my opinion. It takes place several generations after Caesar in his reign, and the way that they really make that clear to you, the viewer, in the film, I think is so well executed and also just pays a really just sweet love to this previous Planet of the Apes trilogy. But now, as we enter what I hope to be a new Planet of the Apes saga, we're introduced to several new characters and new scenarios that I've really enjoyed. You know, the main character, Noah, played by Owen Teague, I thought was an especially captivating character. I found it interesting to be following someone younger than Caesar, somebody who is this kid who's trying to figure things out, who's learning and seeing things from his perspective. I found to be fascinating. I mean, he's kind of the equivalent to like a Boy Scout, and then it builds up all of these other characters around Noah, some of which are fellow apes from his clan who are just good characters. But then you have a few other people throughout who are a lot more complex, who in some aspects you like them or you want to like them, but in other aspects you just don't trust them. You know, and even with characters you don't like, you do see their perspective a little bit. I didn't find this film to be black and white. I found this film to find that gray area. And that discussion, that gray, to me, is so much more fascinating than just some story of good versus evil, which I expected this film to be. However, the advertising for this film was misleading. The advertising really made it feel like this was going to be a big action spectacle. This film is not a big action spectacle. Please, 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 if you haven't seen this film yet, do not go into it expecting a lot of action. There is not. This film really feels like a visual effects showcase almost. You can think of it a little bit like Avatar: The Way of Water, where just like a little different, where I think Avatar, it didn't have a lot of action at the start, but then had a lot of action at the end. This film, even at the end, yes, there's action, but I wouldn't call it like a lot of action. I wouldn't call it like Avatar: The Way of Water levels of action. But once you do realize that this film isn't really an action film, you get over it really quickly, because it is a beautiful movie, and I found the story to be very moving. And like I said, the characters were well fleshed out, and then when there is action, it's fantastic action. And I do hope that if we get another one of these films, we do get more action, just because it's so well made. Like, it's hard to not want just good action, you know, as a fan of that genre and those types of scenes, you know? And in terms of Westball, who I was really worried about before seeing this movie, as he is the director of the Maze Runner trilogy. He's fine. He's going to do an awesome job with Zelda. He's going to do such a good job with Legends of Zelda. But overall, he's just got those director chops. You know, he knows how to build tension. He knows how to compose the most gorgeous shots. There were some just amazing shots in this film that kind of pulled me out of the film for a moment, because I was like, this is so beautiful. Wow. You know, and just overall, it's a very moving, a very compelling film that is beautifully made with some good direction, well put together tension. The score is great. I really enjoy the score. The score for all the Planet of the Apes films has been good. Actually, is it the same composer? I'm curious. Yeah, so the composer of this film is actually John Paisano, who got brought over from the Maze Runner trilogy along with Westball. So good for him, because this was a really good score and felt a lot like the score from the previous Planet of the Apes film. So I hope that he gets a lot more work. And also, big shout out to the writer of this film, Josh Friedman, because I think that this is a really solid script. And he is going to be working on the new Fantastic Four movie, as well as Avatar 4. So he's got some huge films coming up just as a writer. And to see that he wrote this film makes me feel a lot more confident about those upcoming films. And yeah, please go and see this film. And just please, I really hope people go to see this movie, because we need more movies like this. Blockbusters like this that are just gorgeous. And I think that this just pulls a lot from a movie like Avatar: The Way of Water and the original Avatar. And I would much rather get blockbusters like these than just more and more cinematic universes. So I think I'm going to end with giving this film 3.5 stars. I think my biggest issue in terms of this movie has got to be the pacing. The pacing is quite poor. It's slow at the start and then picks up, but then slows right back down to a crawl for an hour after that. And there's really a big chunk of this movie that just crawls, and I feel like we could have cut to the chase a little more. We could have made this a 2-hour movie. So that is why I'm giving this a 3.5 rather than something like a 4. But also, this is a setup movie. This sets up some future Planet of the Apes films. So I really hope that we get those films, because I think that those could be some excellent movies. But what about all of you? What did you think of this new Planet of the Apes film? Did you like it more than me? Did you like it less than me? Please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to start a discussion. And also, feel free to subscribe, turn on the bell, do whatever you gotta do down there if you would like. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.